Today, we are diving into a really special book, Buckeye, by Patrick Ryan. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it's all about how a single secret can echo through generations and just completely change the lives of two different families. So let's get into it.
I mean, that's the whole hook right there, isn't it? It's so simple, but so powerful. You've got one small town, two families, and this one event that binds them together and changes their past, their present, and definitely their future. So picture this. We're in a little midwestern town called Bonhomie, Ohio. The year is 1945. The war in Europe has just ended, and you can just feel the relief and celebration in the air. But right in the middle of all that joy, a single moment happens that kicks off a story that will span decades.
Yeah, it looks like your typical, quiet, all-American town. But underneath that calm surface, there's what the book calls a stolen moment of passion. And that one event is going to tie two people, and by extension their families, together in ways they can't even begin to imagine. So, who are these families at the center of it all? They are the Jenkins and the Salts. On the surface, their lives seem pretty separate, but believe me, they are about to become completely intertwined, and that connection is going to last for generations. Let's meet them.
All right, so on one side you have the Jenkins. There's Cal, a man who's carrying this deep wound, not from fighting, but from the fact that he couldn't serve in the war. Then there's his wife, Becky, who has this incredible, almost mystical gift. She's a seer who can communicate with the dead. Wild, right? And on the other side, we have the Salts. Margaret is trying desperately to hide something from her past, while her husband, Felix, is away serving in the Navy. So you have four people, all carrying their own heavy secrets, and now they're all connected by a new one. You know how it is in small towns. Secrets have a way of seeping into the soil. They just don't stay buried forever. And the consequences of that one single moment, they start to ripple out year after year, decade after decade, touching lives way beyond the two people who were originally involved. And the scope of this story is just huge. It doesn't just hang around in 1945. It follows these families all the way through the post-war boom as the secret is just quietly growing in the background while the country rebuilds. And then ultimately, it's the next generation that has to uncover the truth and figure out what to do with it. So it's not just a page-turner of a story. Buckeye also got so much love from critics. So what was it about this novel that made it resonate so deeply with so many different people? Well, let's start with the readers themselves. The book has a 4.4 out of 5-star average from nearly 8,000 ratings. Now that's not just a few good reviews, that is widespread, genuine love for this story. And the critics? They totally agreed. I mean, just look at this list of places that called Buckeye one of the best books of the year. The New York Times, the Washington Post, NPR, the list goes on. The consensus was pretty clear. This book was a really big deal. The amazing author Ann Patchett called it a glorious sweep of a novel. And that phrasing just perfectly captures its ambitious, multi-generational feel. It was also picked for the Read with Jenna book club, which is huge. Jenna Bush Hager called it a once-in-a-decade novel and said she fell in love with these characters, and that really tells you everything about the emotional connection this book creates. But maybe the New York Times book review just summed it all up in one single word: captivating. And that's exactly what it is. It's a story that just grabs you and does not let you go. So what is the secret sauce here? How can one story be so massive in its scope, but also feel so deeply personal and intimate? Let's talk about the emotional core that makes this book hit home for pretty much everyone. At its heart, the novel taps into something we all understand: that universal search for love, for connection, and just for goodness. It's written with such a deep understanding of the human spirit, of why we make the choices we make, especially the hard ones. It's warm, it's observant, and it's incredibly moving. And this all builds to the central question of the whole novel: what happens when the past comes back and forces a whole new generation to completely re-examine who they thought they were, to question what their future might even look like? That's the question that drives the rest of this unforgettable story. So from one single moment in a small Ohio town, a secret just grows and grows until it defines two families for generations. Buckeye is a powerful, intimate saga about love, about loss, and about the fact that the past, well, it's never really in the past. So if you're ready to uncover the secret for yourself and get lost in this story, you're in luck. The link to this book is in the video description.